You know, I never wanted to be a millionaire. In fact, it all started for me when my dad went to jail. When I was a senior in high school, my dad went to jail for 1.5 years. Not because he was a bad guy, not because he was doing shady things. In fact, it was the exact opposite. My dad was has been the greeter of a front door of a church for years. My middle name is Christian. My family is the most like caring, kind, loving, Christian, go to church every Sunday, always do the right thing, have high integrity kind of family. But when I was a senior in high school, my dad was sent to jail for 1.5 years. He's a website designer. A long time ago, he quit his job at AT&T to start a new little internet business, to help people build websites to get on the internet. And one day, someone gave him a ring, and this guy was selling supplements that supposedly would help people with cancer. My dad built this guy a website. The guy said it was FDA approved. The guy said it was all kind of good. It's all good to go. You're good to go. He builds this website, and then one day my dad asks him, hey, is this thing legit? And the guy goes, no, it's not legit. And instead of taking the website down, he kept it up. He kept it up, hosting it on his servers. Then one day, somebody bought the product and got hurt badly. And the guy who built the company went to jail for 18 years. And my dad, the greeter of the front door of a church, was taken away to Taft prison for 1.5 years when I was a senior in high school, leaving my mom with 3 kids to run everything on her own and make it all happen. And you know, when we got out of jail, I'm not sure what happened in there. When we got out of jail, it was too much. It was over, right? As soon as he got out, I had just graduated high school. They moved up to the middle of nowhere in a place called Lake Arrowhead, 45 minutes away from the closest bar with girls. And I did not want to go there. I did not want to go there. I was a young guy, right? 19 years old, just got out of the Army. I wanted to live my life. I heard this quote, you know, just do what you love with life. And that's what I wanted to do. I loved downhill skateboarding. I got a job at a skate shop. I was like, no, I'm not gonna go up there. I'm gonna go live my life. This is my only chance to be a young guy, to be 19, 20 years old. I'm not gonna go up to the woods. I'm not gonna go out there. I don't wanna do that. I wanna go live my life. So I started sleeping on my friends' floors. I took a spot on their couch. I got a job at a place called SoCal Skate Shop to help sell skateboards because I knew a lot about skateboarding. So I was sponsored by ABEC 11 and I would travel around to Laguna Beach, to Malibu to do all these downhill skateboard competitions, and I was racing all the time, right? This is my passion. I loved doing it. The freedom, the thrill, being fast, going lightning speed, being super high risk taker. I loved it. But you know what? Eventually, my car started to explode. Smoke cartons coming out of the back of it. I was eating Jack in the Box every single day. And one day I went to one of my events and one of my idols, one of my heroes, was sleeping on the floor next to me. And I had been sleeping on the floor for almost 1.5 years now. And looking at this guy, I realized this is exactly who I want to be. This is my hero. This is my idol. I've always looked up to this guy. And he's sleeping on floors. You know what? And I realized if I don't change my path right now, I'm going to be sleeping on floors for the next 5 years of my life. 5 years from now, I'll still be sleeping on floors. So eventually, even though I didn't want to go back, even though I didn't want to move up to the middle of nowhere, even though I knew this was going to ruin myself, I realized I can't do this anymore. I have to leave. So I quit the job and I moved back into my parents' basement and fell into the most horrific, emotionally devastating state I'd ever experienced in my entire life. My girlfriend left me for some other dude. I was 45 minutes away from the closest bar with girls. I had one friend up there who didn't do heavy drugs, and I was just alone. I was powerless. I was isolated, I was devastated, and I felt like I was getting dumber by the day. And even worse than all of that, at the very bottom was just there was no hope. There was no light in the tunnel. There was no way to get out. There was no rich uncle who could save me. There was nothing. I was completely locked in this basement and trapped, and my car didn't even work. I couldn't even get out of there. And when my girlfriend goes and starts a new life with some other dude, my precious 20s become wasted away, all for nothing. And all I can do is make stupid skateboard videos on the internet talking about trucks. There was nothing I could kind of do. I stopped even getting out of bed. I would just lay in bed for 8 hours a day. But my dad, God bless his soul, saw me. He saw the pain that I was kind of in. And the coolest thing about my dad is he's always been a lifelong learner. He's always been a lifelong learner, learning, getting books, taking courses, going to programs, investing in himself, investing in his own education. And he started this thing called the School of Dad, where he would buy these like really shitty how to make money online courses for $7 and $30. And he would send them to me and he'd be like, Peter, I got this web design client. Let me know if you can learn any tricks inside here that can help them make more money. And I would just start laying on my back and just going through them in my bed. I still just that point where you just pass the feeling of dread, you just become a zombie where nothing really kind of just even moves you or phases you. That had become me. Being so depressed and disappointed and furious that I had let my early 20s just be sacrificed to nothing, that I had been wasting away this critically important, just diamond piece of my life, right? Had just been sacrificed and given out to the universe for nothing. And then one day my dad sent me a product and it was super aggressive. The product wasn't great, the product was terrible, but the sales page was super aggressive. It was like, hey man, do you feel like a loser? Do you live in your parents' basement and wish you could get out? Do you wish you could be a multi-millionaire? Do you wish you could drive Lambos, date hot Swedish girls, and live on an island with your feet in the sand in the Caribbean? And I'm reading this whole thing and I'm just like, yeah, I really do. Oh my God, suddenly like a flash of light, like a thunderbolt just slams through my soul. I just had this realization that, oh my God, if there was a way, if I found a way to become a millionaire, just live this dream life, get the Lambos, get the girls, get the money, create this amazing life, that would all be worth it. In fact, that would be the only thing that would be worth it. I had such a sacrifice in my early 20s that I realized that if I got this done by 27, it would be worth it, right? It would all be worth it. But you know what, even worse? Even worse, I realized that if I let my entire 20s go to waste, I couldn't even live with myself anymore. That was real. If I let my entire 20s go to waste and I did nothing about the situation that I was in and I just left there lying on the floor in a victim state and I let my entire 20s be ruined, I knew I could never live with myself. I knew it. At 30 years old, if I knew all my 20s were ripped apart, I told myself I wouldn't be there anymore. So I made a commitment. I made a decision. If we can find a way, if there is a way to become a millionaire, to make money on the internet, to live on an island, to live this extraordinary life, if all this sacrifice that I had gone to could create this amazing life, by the time I'm 27 years old, it'll all be worth it. That's when the journey began.